Get ready to dive into two great stories that will capture your attention and move your heart. In the first, follow Camille's journey through a story of love, manipulation, and personal rediscovery. In the second, explore the dilemmas of a young man torn between loyalty to a friend and an unexpected attraction. Both narratives promise to challenge your perceptions of relationships, friendship, and the choices that shape our lives. Curious to find out more? Come and unravel these plots with us. Camille and William lived a quiet life in a small house on the outskirts of town. They met at college and quickly fell in love, marrying shortly afterwards. William worked as an engineer for a local company, while Camille was an elementary school teacher. Their days were simple, but full of affection and companionship. One Thursday evening, while Camille was reading a book in the living room, William appeared in the kitchen doorway with a smile. He had prepared dinner, a filling and creamy lasagna, Camille's favorite dish. Sitting at the table, they were talking about the day when William, with a thoughtful look on his face, said something unexpected. He talked about how he found fuller-figured women more attractive. Camille was surprised, as they had never talked about it before. She was slim and never worried much about her weight. But William's comment planted a seed of doubt in her mind. Over the next few days, William started bringing Camille little surprises, chocolates, pies, and he even started cooking larger portions for dinner. He always complimented Camille on how much more beautiful and desirable she looked. At first, Camille felt flattered and began to eat more to please him. After all, she thought, if William loved her like that, why not? The weeks turned into months, and Camille began to notice the changes in her body. She had to buy new clothes because her old ones no longer fit. William seemed happy about this, always encouraging Camille to take less care of herself and eat more. She, driven by love and the desire to keep her husband happy, ignored the little voices in her head that whispered doubts. It was during a visit to her mother that Camille realized how much she had changed. Her worried mother asked if everything was all right. Camille assured her that it was, casually mentioning how William liked her fuller figure. Her mother, not entirely convinced, just smiled and changed the subject. Back at home, looking at herself in the mirror, Camille tried to see what William saw. She tried to convince herself that she was doing the right thing, that this was love. But deep down, a small voice began to whisper that perhaps there was something more to William's attitudes. As the months passed, Camille and William's lives began to change in ways that Camille had never imagined. She noticed that William was becoming increasingly controlling and possessive. At first, they were just small comments about the clothes she wore or the people she talked to. But gradually, these comments turned into strict rules and unfounded accusations. Camille remembered a Saturday when she had decided to go out with her friends. William, who had never bothered with these outings before, suddenly started questioning her. He wanted to know where she was, with whom, and why she had to go out without him. The evening, which was supposed to be fun, became tense and uncomfortable for Camille. She returned home early to find William awake, sitting on the sofa with a frown on his face. In another incident, William exploded with rage when one of Camille's work colleagues dropped her off at home. After a meeting, he couldn't believe it was just an innocent hitchhiker. His words were harsh and full of jealousy. Camille tried to argue, to explain, but William only sank deeper into his unfounded suspicions. William's jealousy began to affect their relationship in deeper ways. Camille felt increasingly isolated. He didn't like her visiting his family or friends. When she tried to talk about how she felt, William accused her of being ungrateful and of not recognizing everything he did for her. The constant pressure began to affect Camille's mental health. She found herself losing her self-confidence and joy in life. Her reflection in the mirror showed not only the physical changes, but also the sadness in her eyes. The love she felt for William was mixing with a paralyzing fear of doing something that might trigger his anger. William, for his part, seemed blind to the impact of her actions. His love had become an unhealthy obsession, a desire to control every aspect of Camille's life. He believed he was protecting their relationship, but in reality, he was slowly destroying it. Camille began to question everything: her love for William, her choices, her own identity. She missed the woman she used to be, independent, cheerful and free, but now, trapped in the bonds of William's jealousy, she struggled to find a way out. Camille's awakening on a cold winter's morning was different. The house was silent, strangely empty. She looked around for William, but he was nowhere to be seen. On the kitchen table, she found a note with harsh, cold words. "I can't stay with someone so careless and ugly." The words cut Camille deeply, leaving her in a state of shock and sadness. Over the next few days, Camille found herself navigating through a fog of emotions. She was devastated by William's departure, but also felt a disconcerting sense of relief. The house, now silent, seemed like a refuge from the constant tension and fear that William had brought into her life. Camille spent hours looking at her old photos, remembering how she was before William changed her perception of herself. She began to realize how much she had lost trying to please him. Determined not to let her pain sink her, Camille sought support. She reconnected with friends and family, who welcomed her with open arms. Her conversations with them were therapeutic, helping her to rebuild her self-esteem and understand that what she had experienced was emotional abuse. Over time, Camille made the brave decision to seek professional help. The therapy sessions were challenging, but essential to her healing process. She learned to recognize the signs of a toxic relationship and the importance of setting boundaries for herself. Every small step towards recovery made her feel stronger and more independent. Camille also began to take care of her physical health. She enrolled in yoga classes and resumed her healthy eating habits. It was no longer a question of looks, but of feeling good and healthy. With each new class and each balanced meal, Camille felt like she was taking back control of her life. Camille's healing process was long and full of ups and downs. There were days when she doubted herself, days when the sadness seemed insurmountable. But she persevered, supported by her network of loving friends and family. Finally, looking in the mirror one day, Camille saw something she hadn't seen for a long time, a glimmer of hope and strength in her eyes. She had come through the storm and emerged on the other side, not just a survivor, but reborn. Camille had learned to love herself again, and to value her own company. She was ready to start a new chapter in her life, one where she was the author of her own story. I've always considered my hometown a refuge, a place of memories and old ties. It's been a while since I moved away, looking for new horizons. This January, I returned for a visit, looking forward to seeing family and friends again. As is common with reunions, gossip soon reached my ears, and one of them caught my attention. A couple of friends, Lucas and Evangeline, who had dated for 5 years, had broken up 2 months ago. Lucas, one of the people involved, has been a friend of mine for a long time. He asked me out to a bar recently. Between beers and casual conversation, he briefly mentioned the breakup, but we quickly changed the subject. We also went jogging in the evenings and played FIFA at his house, keeping the friendship going as it always has. Yesterday, it was Evangeline's turn to ask me out. I'd always been friends with both of them and saw no reason to take sides in the situation. We went to a bar, where I chatted with her and met other friends. At one point, Lucas appeared. I greeted him cordially, but it was clear that we were in different groups that night. During the conversation, Evangeline revealed that she was the one who had broken up. She said she was no longer interested and wanted to explore new possibilities. Lucas tried to talk to find a solution, but she was direct, saying she didn't want to do it anymore. She said he was hurt and heartbroken, although he didn't show it. The evening took an unexpected turn. In front of Evangeline's house, after a few drinks, we exchanged glances and ended up kissing. It didn't go any further than that, as we had no protection. We then decided to go home together. Today, I have plans to go out with Lucas again. We're going to a waterfall and, knowing that he's still hurting from the end of the relationship, I feel strange about what happened and what could happen again. It's worth remembering, Evangeline and I had something before they started dating, but never during their relationship. There was no betrayal on either side. Now, reflecting on all this, I ask myself, am I the asshole for getting involved with Evangeline right after they broke up? Am I complicating things between the three of us? I value my friendship with Lucas, but I also can't deny what happened between Evangeline and me. These feelings and situations leave me confused, torn between loyalty to one friend and unexpected attraction to another. Right now, I'm here, sitting on the edge of the waterfall. While Lucas dives into the crystal clear waters, he seems to be trying to forget his sorrows. Seeking some solace in nature, I watch him and think about everything we're going through. The truth is, I'm not sure what to do now. Should I tell him about Evangeline and me? Would that only increase his pain? The sun shines on the water, creating golden reflections that make me think about the fragility of human relationships. Our choices can change everything in an instant, and the consequences of those choices can be unpredictable. I never wanted to hurt Lucas, but have I ever done so unintentionally? Suddenly, Lucas comes out of the water and sits down next to me. His gaze lost on the horizon, he starts talking about his feelings, about how he's trying to move on. I listen intently, feeling a mixture of guilt and uncertainty. The friendship between us has always been strong, but now it feels like there's a fine line that could be broken at any moment. The day is ending, and with it, my hometown visit is also drawing to a close. I have to make a decision, tell Lucas the truth or keep it a secret. This decision could change our friendship forever. But I also know that honesty is the foundation of any true relationship. As the sun sets, I promise myself that whatever happens, I will respect Lucas and Evangeline's feelings. I will try to be the best possible friend to both of them, even if that means sacrificing my own desires. After all, sometimes life puts us in difficult situations, and it's at these times that our true values are tested.